Your mind needs instructions. It is as simple as that. And I want you to think about what kind of instructions are you giving your mind? And are you giving your mind the instructions that are going to get you where you want to be? So we have in our brain something called neural pathways. And for the most part, we are acting on already existing, proven neural pathways through our mind that are just autopilot. We show up and we go on autopilot. Have you ever been driving? You get in the car, taking the kids to work, running the grocery store, or taking the kids to school, running the grocery store, doing something that you normally do. You get to where you're going and you think, how did I get here? Like you really are, you kind of zoned and you just got in the zone and drove to where you were going. You got on autopilot. Those neuro pathways to get you from your house to the school are there, like locked in there, and you can do it with your eyes closed. You can do it on autopilot. Most of the decisions that you make, in fact, 95% of the decisions that you make today, 95%, are the same decisions that you made yesterday. That's how predictable we are. We do the same thing over and over and over again. And that's actually how we are set up. We are set up to do the same thing. We have there's two parts of your brain that are working kind of simultaneously. They work together in a sense. So you have your amygdala. Your amygdala is programmed to be wary of something that is unknown. So your amygdala is what shows up and is like, whoa, we have not done this before. It's worry, doubt, fear. That's what's driving that, because what you are looking at is unknown. And so you have all these neural pathways. When you decide to make a change, when you decide to do something different, to be a different weight, to have different relationships, to have a different financial situation, when you decide to be different, it doesn't matter how miserable you are currently or you were before. What you are wanting to do is different and unknown from where you are. So your little amygdala is like, warning, warning, no. And that's where fear, doubt, worry, all of that shows up. So when you create you can create new neural pathways. For instance, you are living in one home that you've lived for quite a while and you get there automatically. You leave the school and you just go home. But then you move and your brain can go onto autopilot and you end up going back to the old school or the old house or the old work because that was the old neural pathways and you haven't created the new ones yet. How do you reprogram those new neural pathways? This is the question. Because what you want to do is you want success, abundance, a healthy body, great relationships. You want that to be your autopilot, right? You want to be like, oh yeah, I'm totally fit. I go to the gym. Oh yeah, I'm $1 million earner. Yeah, I got abundance. My bills are paid. I got great relationships. You want that to be your autopilot, right? We all do. The thing is, it's not our autopilot right now, and so we have to create new neural pathways. How do we do that? I'm glad you asked. Okay, so there's two ways. There's two ways that you can start to reprogram your mind. The first is through trauma. You can reprogram your mind through trauma. This is why when you go through a traumatic event, you can be immediately changed. You can have different beliefs. You can have different ways that you see the world. Everything is changed through trauma because that event brought so much, a huge level of emotional intensity that new neural pathways were formed during that trauma and created a new pathway. So now you have a new way of thinking. So trauma. We don't want that. And in fact, some of the stuff we may be rewriting was written by trauma. Okay, number 2 is we can rewrite those pathways through repetition. It's the brainwashing. It's having something on repeat over and over again. There's things that we can do. When we put a thought on repeat in our mind, we can build a new neural pathway. Just like going to a new house or a new work or a new store over and over and over again, that repetition builds a new pathway. So what we want to do is we want to create a new neural pathway to a fit and healthy body, to abundance, to a successful business, to beautiful relationships. We want to, so we're gonna do that through repetition. But you're saying to me, but Amy, okay, yes, let's put abundance on repeat. That'd be nice, right? Okay, how do you put abundance, how do you put success, how do you put your fit and healthy body onto repeat so you can have new neural pathways? Again, I'm glad you asked. You do this through vision, through visualization, through your thoughts, through statements. What you need is you need to know what you want, where you're going, and lock in that vision and put that vision on repeat. Because your mind cannot tell the difference between an imagined thought and a real thought. Think about this. Have you ever been alone in the house and heard a noise and got yourself completely psyched out that something awful is happening? There's somebody in the house, somebody's coming to murder you, right? Somebody isn't in the house and they're not coming to murder you, but your heart rate is beating really fast. You've got the adrenaline is pumping. You're like calling somebody and being like, I need you to be on the phone with me while I go look around the house, right? That is a real manifestation of emotion to a perceived event, to an imagined event. You just raised your heart rate, you increased your adrenaline, you spiked your cortisol levels, all physical manifestations of an imagined event of what was happening. You can actually do the same thing with the imagined success, the imagined abundance, the imagined body. The problem is most of us spend our time thinking about what we don't want and what we don't have. And so we keep those pathways of lack, of being ill fit, of poor relationships, of a unsuccessful business. We keep those neural pathways going through the way that we perceive them and think about them. That's what we're doing when we spend time in doubt, worry, and fear, instead of hope, vision, and looking forward, and excitement and optimism and enthusiasm of where we're going. Your imagination is the greatest tool that you have for building the life that you want. Your imagination is better than hiring a VA. It is. Now, hiring a VA is pretty great. But your imagination is what you are going to use to increase your business to the point where you can be hiring a VA. So, what you are looking for is getting a rock solid vision of who you are, where you're going, why you're going there, and who's going to benefit, so that as you're moving through this process of reprogramming those neural pathways, you are teaching and giving your mind the instructions of exactly the pathway that you want to take. The more clear that you are about where you're going, the more often you visit your vision and your story and your purpose, the quicker those neural pathways are going to get written. Your filter is going to open up and it's going to start showing you the things that you need to achieve that. All of this stuff is going to start happening when you get clear on your vision and you start putting your vision on repeat.